What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into week 12, the Betting Pros live stream every Sunday. Terrell, Furman, Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel, Twitter as well. You guys picked a good weekend because this is going to be a fun show. Terrell and I, last time me and you got into it, we did well last time, you and me. Terrell, how are you on this Sunday?
Oh, I'm great. I'm living. Happy to be back with you. I am in a new era over here in four-time Super Bowl champ land. We're in a new era. We have moved on, and believe it or not, there's actually interest in Daniel Jones out there, believe it or not. But
Lots.
we've moved on to a new era, and we are now full on in the tank. Completely full on in the tank. Because just imagine, Matt, how bad do you have to be to not only be Daniel Jones' backup, to be the third string? You don't even dress out, and Daniel Jones dress out. So you know what? Yeah, come on, DeVito. Let's go. Show me the money. I would love to see it because you are going to lose and we are going to get a number one pick. Yes, I'm great. Happy.
In time for Thanksgiving, it is Tommy Cutlet's time in New York with the New York Giants. I don't know if they could be worse than the Jets, but they very well might be worse than the Jets.
We're trying. I mean, we're really trying. Like, don't make it seem like we're not trying to be worse than them. We really are. They're just that bad.
Before we get to the games, if you guys want your chance to score a signed Mike Evans Buccaneers autographed helmet for free, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com, all you need to do is head to bettingpros.com/contest, complete the form, and either download the Betting Pros app, leave a review for a Betting Pros podcast, or subscribe to our social media channels. It's at Betting Pros on X and TikTok, and at Betting Pros NFL on Instagram. The more actions you complete, the more entries you will receive. We'll announce it on this very YouTube channel. So make sure those notifications are turned on so you know when we're live, when we're making the announcement, and you can potentially claim your prize of an autographed Mike Evans signed helmet for free. Enter at bettingpros.com/contest. All right out of the gate, Terrell, let's get to one of the big games today. The Colts are at home. The Lions are everyone's darling. Everyone's betting the Lions, or are they? It was 7.5 about an hour ago. We are now down to 7, which was the open number for the Colts and the Lions. I like 7.5. I took it in contests, Indianapolis plus 7.5. I haven't bet this per se, but this has a total that's too high to qualify for a Wong teaser, but I could definitely see teasing this down and taking Detroit, or teasing it up and taking the Colts. Where are you on Lions Colts today?
I think if I were to go one way in that route, I'd probably tease it up and take the Colts, because I could see, like, I mean, Detroit's been really, really good, and I understand that. And I think Detroit has been good because they have a lot of talent. They have a very good coaching staff that has coached these players up. You look at Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, all the weapons Jared Goff has thrown to, the defense gets up. But if you look at the Colts, you're like, man, you scratch your head. You're like, you don't know about the defense. They have questions at quarterback that they go back and forth with.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts are like 8-3 ATS this season.
Under Richardson, yes.
And Flacco. I mean, that's combined with Richardson and Flacco. So It doesn't matter which one they throw out there. They've been covering the spread rather frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, what kind of gives Detroit problems? The mobile quarterback. When the mobile quarterback starts going off script, making up their own plays. Kyler Murray gave him a little bit of problems. Baker was able to extend plays at the right point in time for Tampa Bay in that Detroit game that really, really helped be able to keep those drives going. And I think Anthony Richardson can do kind of the same if they just let him go. I know that we're going to see the deep ball passing. We're going to get a couple of big plays, but can they sustain drives? Can he keep 3rd and 5, keep the chains going rather than punting? And I think they can. I think this is a little bit of a sleepy spot with the look ahead to Thursday.
It's a great point. Yeah.
Teams laying this amount of points looking ahead to Thursday is never really a good spot. So I think the contrarian move, and probably the play I would be on, is just take the Colts plus 7.5, close your eyes, and when you look at the final score, you're probably going to get a cover.
Yeah, all the 7.5s are gone. So I mean, if you can find a 7.5 out there, grab it, because as I said, I took it in contests. I think you're absolutely right. I think this is a spot. And look, I think the back door could be open late. I think it could be a game where the Lions are up by 10, 14 points, and you just have a last second touchdown and they wind up covering. And you're like, my gosh, why did I lay a touchdown on the road? It's just, I don't have, it's not like a steadfast rule, but I really don't like laying more than a touchdown on the road in November. I know it's a dome, so there's no weather to talk about. But when we're talking about teams that are this far into their system, like, there's no more getting used to your coaches, no more getting used to the play calls. There's no more situational unawareness for these quarterbacks. Even a guy like Anthony Richardson, who's been benched at times, Shane Steichen's still a very good head coach, and he's had at times Richardson playing really well. It's the turnovers that you're worried about. It's the strip sacks and it's the fumbles and it's the pressure that I think you're going to have. And that's why I like Jonathan Taylor over his receiving today, for that very reason, because I do think there's going to be some outlet passes here. I do think there's going to be getting him in the screen game, getting him involved to have him try to slow down the Detroit Lions pass rush. So you dump it off to him, let him go make plays. So I think Taylor has a decent game catching the football today for the Colts. But I'm right there with you. I wouldn't lay the number. Everyone, if you want to fade the public on the Lions. I mean, they're all just going ahead and acting like the game's over. They're betting it one way, yet the line move has gone against the money and the ticket. So it's telling you that respected money, which doesn't always win, mind you, but 8-2 against the number for Detroit. They're 4-1 on the road this year. They have won every game except the Tampa Bay game in week 2 at home. They've been red hot. So, I mean, from a straight up perspective, everyone's wondering, when will the letdown spot happen? When will the mistake game happen for Jared Goff? This might be it. And you made a great point. Thanksgiving's Thursday, a lot of distractions. They're on the road and they're laying 7.5. I'm with you. I think the dog is the right side, taking the Colts and teasing the Colts up for that matter as well, taking them up to plus 13 equally. Here's a game that there's a big argument over. The Chiefs are on the road laying double digits. They're laying double digits.
Yeah.
Now, this team has not been covering at all this year. And I know Carolina stinks. I know KC has Patrick Mahomes, and I know they've got all these weapons. You're going to have to convince me why the Panthers aren't covering this 10.5 point number, because I got talked off of it, and I was going to bet it. I got talked off of it. I might talk myself back into it here at 10.5. Are the Chiefs killing the Panthers today?
Well, so my handicapping gut says no, because you don't lay over a touchdown with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, especially in this new era of Kansas City Chiefs football, where they don't really care about putting up points. They want to lean on the defense. Patrick Mahomes makes the plays when he needs to make the plays. But with that being said, every single positive trend that I have ever bet on the Carolina Panthers this season has not worked for me, because
they've won 2 games in a row, though. They're hot. Panthers have won 2 in a row.
And you know what? I completely understand that. And I understand if you just make the system play, you see Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid laying over a touchdown, you take the other team. That is a very good system. You're probably going to win. It's about as good as Patrick Mahomes as a dog, for real. But my concern is that I've done this with the Close Your Eyes special, and I've done this multiple times backing this Panthers team in spots that they should really perform, and everything has said, hey, they'll finally cover, and then they still look like the horrible Panthers. So you know what? I decided to leave it off the card this week. This is an autoplay for me. I'm not going to lie. When I see Patrick Mahomes laying this kind of number, it's an autoplay for me to take the other team. But the Panthers have me scared. So if you are not traumatized by the Panthers, I say take them. But I'm traumatized. I can't do it.
I think this is a perfect, if you're in a contest, I know most of the contests you had to put the picks in last night, but if you're in a contest, this is a great contest play. Taking the Panthers, like, pick them, take the points, but don't really put money behind it. Just be like, okay, the Panthers should cover this. Close Your Eyes special might be the best way of describing it, because you're going to want to, like, stick your head in into a blender at some point and go, I can't believe I actually took the Panthers, but they may find a way to cover late. They may find a way to come back. They're 1-3. The Panthers are ATS at home. The Chiefs are 3-2 ATS on the road, but they haven't covered for 4 consecutive games. The last time the Chiefs covered was back against San Francisco, where they were catching 2.5 points as a dog, and they won the game by 10 points. They're coming off of a loss. I know every number is Andy Reid after a loss. Look out. Here come the Chiefs. They're going to go and annihilate. It's just not really what they do. And frankly, the Chiefs should have 3 losses, maybe even 4 losses. So I don't really think like because they lost their first game of the year, they're going to be all upset and they're going to go down there and send the league a message by annihilating the Panthers. It's a bigger game for Carolina. It's a bigger game for that roster in Carolina than it is the Chiefs. A lot of guys want to put tape up against Patrick Mahomes and company because teams are going to go and watch that game film and say, all right, how'd you do against Kansas City? I don't recommend betting it, but I think you can take the points. I would 100% take the points on this and take the 10.5 points with the Chiefs. If you have a contest play, you can tease it up if you want. I mean, 16.5 points is a lot of points, but kind of figure if the Panthers going to cover 10.5, they probably cover 16.5 too. So I don't know if you need to tease it. You may just need to just take a straight bet. And why make it more difficult on yourself? Just take the 10.5. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. You just move on to the next game when it comes to it. So on to the next game is the Bears hosting the Vikings. Ooh, as a trend better.
I love this one.
This is a fun game. This is a fun game. Everyone and their brothers on the Vikings. Vikings have won and covered 4 straight games at Soldier Field. Vikings are a team that have owned this division. They've owned the Bears. Except the money is not coming in on the Vikings. This is a dome team playing outside.
Yep.
Numbers down to 3. I took 3.5. This is one of my bets, Terrell. I like the Bears today. I love the hook. I think this is a 3-point game, one way or the other. Give me the 3.5. Where are you on Vikings Bears?
Yeah, this is my game too. A lot of you, Erickson, like I keep getting on shows and everybody keeps saying, "Oh yeah, I'm on the Bears," and I'm like, "Oh, dang it! All right, well, I'm gonna pivot a little bit." But yeah, no, I really like the Bears. You got the Minnesota Vikings who are playing a 3rd road game in a row. This is a tough spot. That is
and the Bears are playing their 3rd straight road game. Home game. How often do you see that? 3 on the road, 3 at home. You don't normally see that go head to head with each other.
Massive disparity. In fact, if you're looking at what this does since 2022, teams that are on 3 road games in a row and on their 3rd road game are 6-9 ATS. That is 40%. 4-11 straight up. 4-11 straight up. Yeah. So I like Chicago here. I think the trend matches. I think if you look at, hey, how can the Chicago Bears be in this game? It's rolling Caleb Williams out of the pocket and it's attacking the secondary of the Minnesota Vikings, because while they will throw looks at you, and I do think that Brian Flores is going to throw different looks at Caleb Williams and kind of confuse him, make him into some bad throws. I think that you can also get some really, really, really good throws on this Minnesota Vikings team. I think DJ Moore is going to have a game. So I like Caleb Williams. I like him on the positive and the negative side. Give me Caleb Williams over 203 passing yards. I have over 203 passing yards. I think it's going around 204, 205 now. I still like that. I think he's going to be able to get over the passing yards. The Vikings have given this up in what is this? 8 of their games this season. Then you have Caleb Williams over half an interception as well, because this pesky Minnesota defense is very, very opportunistic, gets quarterbacks to make bad throws. They have an interception in every single game this season but one. So I like for Caleb Williams, rookie quarterback who makes mistakes with a rough offensive line, to throw an interception, but I think he's going to make it up and be able to go over the passing yards too.
So you like him to throw a pick, but the Bears to cover?
Yep.
Yes.
Ooh, yep. Ugly game. Okay. Ugly game. I like the under as well. I think the under is a great play in this one. I expect an ugly game. I think both. I mean, really, the interception is a wash because Sam Darnold's going to throw an interception. By the way, I know I didn't put it on the card, people. Sam Darnold's going to throw an interception. He's going outdoors. This is a quarterback that's been throwing interceptions all year, and he just constantly one-ups himself every single week with his interception. I think the Vikings are going down. I think there's a possibility that the Vikings don't make the playoffs.
You're not wrong. A lot of people have been waiting for this. They've been waiting for the tipping point for the Vikings, and a lot of gamblers feel like they've hit it. And this is now the downward slide for Minnesota because, they've won 3 games in a row and they've covered their last 2 of the last 3. But I mean, they didn't cover against Jacksonville. They beat Tennessee, but
they didn't score a touchdown against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, and the Titans stink. maybe the worst team in football. They won at home against Indianapolis and covered, but laying 6, they won by 8. But on the road against the Rams, they lost that game by 10. So the last time they played a team that really is what gamblers think is a quality football team, they wound up losing that game outright. And look, 4-1, Chicago's 4-1 ATS so far this year. They played one divisional game so far. They covered in that one divisional game. That was last week against Green Bay, and frankly, should have lost the game. That was a miracle. They should have won the game rather. Miracle block that Green Bay had on the kick. So the Bears should have won last week. Are the Bears a quality team, AOWN? It's not that. We don't need to worry about them being a quality team overall. Spot. It's a spot. It's a bet. It's just today. I don't need them to be a quality team overall. I just need to be a quality team today. Just play today.
And in a couple weeks when they play again, that would be nice because Robert was like, I don't know, Vikings would have to collapse to not make it. Well, if you look at their schedule, if they don't win this game today, they play the Cardinals, who are really good right now, leading their division. They play the Falcons. Okay, I don't believe in the Falcons, so I will give you that one win right there. That's 9 wins. Maybe they do make it on 9 wins. That's very possible. But they also play the Bears again at home, so 50-50, they could get that one. Seahawks on the road, another tough road spot going to Seattle for Sam Darnold. And if Sam Darnold throws interceptions in Seattle, so I don't know. I don't think of the Vikings of that much better than Seattle, to be honest, and I do not like Seattle.
Somebody in Minnesota, tell us, is the rodeo in town or something? Like, why is U.S. Bank, they have 3 straight road games and then 3 straight home games? Vikings schedule is a little bit wonky. Like, there's got to be something going on in the building that caused them to go on the road for 3 straight games, and then the league turning around and giving them 3 straight home games, which, everybody loves 3 straight home games. That's why we're taking the Bears.
Yeah.
It's 3 straight home games. It's nice sleeping in your own bed.
And you want to know what's funny is that after this game, the Bears are going on 3 straight road games, with the last game being in Minnesota.
Wow.
So gonna be a good spot. Hopefully we can green up in this spot where if we get the Bears on the money line today, well, guess what? It's the same handicap. Just flip it in 3 weeks. So, like I said, that's the game that I think they can win. They could possibly win a couple other games, but this Minnesota team isn't good. And if they free falled out the end of the season, I would not be surprised. Like if they were 9 wins at the end of the season, would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, a lot of people are expecting the Vikings to come back down to earth. Remember, this team, I think their win total was 8.5, 7.5, 8.5. It was low. No one expected them to play the way that they've played to start the season. And Darnold, becoming an all-pro caliber quarterback, may be coming back down to earth. Guys, maximize your prop betting success with the prop betting prop cheat sheet. If you guys haven't checked out the prop bet cheat sheet, I recommend doing so. I do it all the time. I used it for my props here on our live stream. Instantly compare sportsbook lines and expert projections to find the best value. I love that because the numbers can be sometimes a yard, even 2-yard difference between books when it comes to betting on these prop bets. Customize your bets by filtering props by matchup, by odds, bet type, and ensuring you only see the most profitable opportunities. You can get tailored recommendations and track winning trends with ease using this comprehensive tool. Take your prop betting to the next level at bettingpros.com/props or on the Betting Pros sports betting app, which you can download for free today. High school football in Minnesota. The state championships. Thank you. Okay. Wow. That causes the NFL team to get out of Dodge. That's really interesting. You figure they just kind of like move around the state championship games. They wouldn't kick out the NFL team to $1 billion stadium. That's a little bit that's a weird. Okay, sure. Dallas and Washington, biggest number on the board. Superbook's up to 11 here. The total is 44. Dallas dead. We know this. No Dak, no energy, no coaching staff left over after this year. They're going to blow everybody out. But Washington in a divisional game, I have a really hard time with this. How do you feel about Dallas? Can they shock the world here? And look, not going to win the game, but can they cover?
If they do, I'm not going to be on it. I hate the Cowboys. I'm just enjoying this season. I'll say it. This is a biased pick. There's probably a Cowboys fan be like, see, look, everybody hate us. Yeah, I do hate you. And I hope that you lose by 20 today. Woo! We'll see. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. This is a get up spot. This Commanders team has actually handled business when they're supposed to handle business. So, right. It just looks weird to see the Commanders laying 10.5, but this Cowboys team hasn't remotely been in any game like at all. They got demolished by Philly. They got demolished by the Texans. They're on the road in this spot. Mindful, those two games were at home. They're on the road in this spot. The Commanders have been really, really good. And I think the only way that I could see it is if CD Lamb just goes off. And I think CD Lamb can actually have a really good day. Like, I think that if there's anybody, and I wish I meant to put him on the card to add him to the graphic, but take CD Lamb over on receiving yards. Because if there's anybody on that Cowboys team that played like they had some heart in the past 2 weeks, it was CD Lamb going out there trying to make a play, at least attempting. Like, he was going out there actually trying. So I'm CD Lamb is the only person on the Cowboys that I would even take a stab at, but I don't think they're in this game at all. I think Commanders defense is going to be able to get to the quarterback, keep Cooper Rush on his back, and then they're looking ahead to Thursday against the New York Giants, where we're going to have Trey Lance versus Tommy Cutlets here. So.
If you're wondering when to eat dinner on Thanksgiving, there's your window. The Giants and Cowboys game. There's your window.
Yeah, because you're gonna have a great game to watch while you're eating. Great game to watch while you're eating.
No, that's a game you just ignore. Like, you eat, shut it off, like you just go do something else. I guess it comes down to, how do you feel about the Panthers versus the Cowboys? Because this is the same number and the same spot back on the 20th of October when the Panthers went to Washington and the Panthers were catching 10.5 points. They lost the game by 33 points. They got crushed. So we have seen the Commanders do this to an opponent already. 5 straight games for the Cowboys that they have lost. 5 straight games that they have not covered. They have not covered against the conference. They are 0-6 against the NFC. They are 0-2 against the division, and they're 2-8 overall. They have covered 2 times, both times on the road, at Cleveland and at Pittsburgh. That's what's got me a little bit concerned, because, again, laying double digits in divisional games in November just makes me go red flag. Like, I bet this enough. I've been gambling enough to go, we're going to really lay 10.5 points in a divisional game. Like, I know people in Survivor who have decided it's a good idea to take the Commanders this week. And I'm just like, you don't do this in Survivor contests. You don't take, unless you have no one else left, you don't take divisional matchups in Survivor, because really wonky and weird things can happen. Injuries can happen. Turnovers and interceptions, mistakes, whatnot can happen. This is a no-play game for me, except I've got one play. I have Noah Brown going under his reception yards here today. He's not been a big factor in this Commanders offense the last 2 weeks, just 33 yards and 4 yards in their last 2 performances. I don't think he's a big part of the offense here today either. We're going to go under on Noah Brown's receiving at 37.5 yards here. That's my only play here on this one. I think other wideouts are going to get more targets and more looks from the offense and from the quarterback here for the Commanders. Okay, we move to the Tampa Bay and your team, the New York Giants. This number was 3 until Tommy Cutlets played, and then it was 6. But the move here,
that's crazy.
But the move here on Vegas is on your Giants. We're down to 5.5.
Yeah.
You like your team to cover? You like Tommy Cutlets to cover against Baker and company?
Not really, but if it happens, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think I would bet Bucks. I would not bet Bucks. It's either Giants or no look for me, just because I've been betting too long, when not as long as you, but I've seen too many times where that backup rookie quarterback or whatever it is comes in and the team rallies, the defense.
It happened last year. It just happened.
He won 3 games last year, and one was against the Packers, who, by the way, were in the NFC Championship game. So, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they get up. How I see it happening and how I play it is the under 40.5, because our defense is second in the league in sacks. I think that they're going to be able to get after Baker. They're going to be able to keep Baker from being comfortable. But, I'm telling you, Mike Evans is going to go off regardless. He's going to eventually find Mike Evans. It might take a little while. It might take a little up and off on a couple of quarters, but he's going to find Mike Evans. So make sure you play that Mike Evans over 55.5 receiving yards and the touchdown as well. That's just a free square that I'm going to give you, because we don't have a corner that's going to be able to stop him. But and that's why I ultimately think the Bucs are going to win the game. But I can see this team being very, very competitive. The Bucks are bad against the pass. I think that if he gets some solid offensive line play, that Tommy Cutlass is going to be able to move the football. He has Malik Neighbors and he has Wandale Robertson, who are good receivers. It was just the quarterback that's at question. So easy game plan. I'm telling you, Dable and Shane jobs rely on what's going to happen the rest of this season.
They got a kiss of death this morning, Terrell.
What happened?
They're both coming back.
No way.
Yeah.
No, they said this before. Who said that? Who said? I'm curious on where did you see that?
I read it this morning. The Giants have told both their GM and their coach that both are coming back next season.
No, because they said the same thing to Joe Judge, and Joe Judge got fired before. Like, no, so don't believe that. Don't believe that.
I was.
Was
shocked.
it John Mara that said it? Let me look this up.
Hold on. Giants are expected to retain both GM and head coach.
Who said that?
It came out an hour ago. Who's reporting this? CBS Sports is reporting it.
I'm going head to head with CBS Sports. I'm telling you here on Betting Pros, Joe Shane and Brian Dable are not coming back next year.
Whoa.
Let's see who's right.
All right.
I'm breaking it. I'm breaking it. What's today's
CBS
date?
Sports.
November 24th.
24th. They're claiming both your coach and GM are both back next year. Oh, the owner did say it, I guess. CBS Sports may have reported the owners.
Yeah, and so if it was Mara said the same thing about Joe Judge. Yeah. All right, I'll go toe-to-toe with CBS Sports. Get ready to clip this, Sal.
Well, let's see. I think I was stunned when I read it this morning. I was like, come on. There's no way. They're bringing back.
My sources say they're gone. So.
Oh. Are there real sources, or is it Terrell Furman is my source?
It might be a little bit of both. It might be a little bit of both. It might have been, a little bit of me, a little bit of somebody I heard, and I just kind of took two things and mixed them together and said, oh yeah, this is going to happen.
All right. Patriots are on the road. They're catching 7 or 7.5 against the Miami Dolphins. What do you mean, what?
7.5?
Yeah. That number's now 7.5. It's up to 7. It's off of 7. We're up to 7.5 for Miami here.
They can't give you guys 7.5, can they?
I think they can, but I'm pulling it down. I mean, this has been a house of horrors for the Patriots going down to Miami. I mean, the Dolphins over the last 4 years have simply owned the Patriots in Miami, and it's a tough spot, tough defense. I mean, the Dolphins kind of are playing for something still. They're not completely dead. I just teased it down. I just basically pulled it down to -1. I got 7, pulled it down to 1 for the Dolphins. I'm a Patriot fan. I would love to see myself be wrong about this, but the Patriots winning this game today would be somewhat stunning. Pats are 3-3 on the road this year, coming off of the road trip against both Chicago and Tennessee. They covered both of those games. I just think this might be a really bad spot for the Patriots. Where are you on Dolphins, Pats?
Any concern that Miami has not been good at home this season?
Yes, but the Patriots defense is banged up. Christian Gonzalez is a game time decision. You don't want to have your best cornerback not healthy going into a game against the offense like this. I've seen it too many times. As a Patriot fan, I've seen this too many times. They go down to Miami. It's warm. Everyone gets comfortable. They're all happy. And then the Patriots, just get boat raced by the Dolphins.
Okay. I think something in my gut tells me, and that's why I stayed away from this one. Something in my gut tells me that, because I feel like for a little portion of the LA game, and it kind of just got a bad, I wouldn't say it's a bad beat, but it just didn't go your way if you were on the Patriots last week.
Yeah, me. If Pop Douglas looks at what wide receiver is running a route in the most important route of the game and doesn't look for the ball, like if he looks for the ball, he may have caught that ball. He might still be running, and the Patriots win that game against the Rams. So at home, I love Drake May, but I think Drake May is going to have a really tough day today. I think he's going to get beat up today. I think he's going to have a real tough time. I think you can lay the 7.5 even. I think the Dolphins win the game by double digits. Any
concern? This is a popular Survivor contest pick this week.
Of course, but when we're this late into the Survivor contests, there's Washington and Miami. Okay, so those are your two top picks in the Circuit Survivor. There's 95 entries left for $14.2 million.
Did you see the person that didn't submit a pick?
As someone who runs a proxy service, we all went, "Oh my god!"
Didn't submit a pick this late? It's $14 million up for grabs.
$150,000. That pick is worth $150,000. I mean, I don't understand. Like we like scoured all of our selections because we have multiple people who are left and on our proxy service. I was like, we entered everything right. Like we did everything right? We went.
It's not us.
Yeah, we went and triple checked it. We all freaked out when that came out and someone did submit a pick. $150,000 ticket you just flushed down the toilet. Like, how do you do that? Like, that is so sickening. But those two, I mean, 33, I think it's 35 and 33.
Yeah, 33 and 33, I see.
Okay, 33 and 33 for Washington. So you have those two games account for 60% plus of the remaining teams. So if you're now early in the year, that was an automatic fade. But as we get to November, these people know what they're doing. These people tend to have more information. They tend to be sharper who are left. So I don't mind it. That's one reason why I teased it down, because I do think the Dolphins are going to win today against the Patriots. Okay. The Commanders are a different story just because my spidey senses is going off with the Commanders going like, I don't know about that. But I do think the Dolphins win today, even though they have been pretty crappy against the number. I even in contest plays, I laid 7.5, or I laid 7 with the Dolphins here against the Patriots. I think Drake May has a tough time. You want an extra prop? Drake May to throw a pick today is probably a decent bet on him against that Dolphins defense. He's going to be running for his life today. Patriots offensive line.
Give me Drake May anytime touchdown and parlay it with him to throw a pick.
Oh my! What that's got to pay you 4-1, 5-1. That's gonna be a good payout.
Got to be nice.
That's got to be a nice payout, and that both those things are correlated. It can definitely happen. Patriots should have beaten the Rams. They didn't, but they beat Chicago. They beat Tennessee, or they covered against Tennessee. They beat the Jets. They've won 2 of the last 4 games, but the Dolphins have covered 3 straight against Buffalo, the Rams, and Vegas. They've won 2 of those 3 games. They're still technically alive. It's how much are they really alive? I don't know. They're 4-6. We'll see what the number is going to be, because I do think there are some teams in the AFC that will come back down to earth, and the Steelers might be one of them, and some others. So we'll see what the actual wild card looks like. They're not totally dead. Look at that. That's a plus. It's a 7-1 ticket for a May anytime touchdown plus to throw a pick on FanDuel.
Yeah.
All right. Not a bad flyer bet. You want to throw that out there from
I'm betting it right now. Yeah.
All right. One more early game. The Titans are against the Tennessee Titans. This is a pick that only gamblers will be involved with. This is a horrible game. Numbers climbing, but it was as high as 9 at open. It was bet down to 7.5. It's now been bet up to 8.5 here in Vegas. I know a lot of people who like the Titans today. Do you like the Titans today?
So I couldn't get there on the Titans. I saw reasoning for both. You have a Texans team that doesn't cover as a favorite. I mean, the Cowboys ruin everything, but I've seen Texans be 2.5 point favorites and still not cover and get the win. Like, this is just something the Texans don't do. But that defense for the Titans is very, very scary with the offensive line for the Texans and the mindset of CJ Stroud. So CJ Stroud, I have now realized over the course of the season that he just doesn't trust his offensive line. Like he doesn't. That's why he's trying to get the ball out quicker. That's why he's over there trying to move around, extend plays. He's getting hit. He doesn't like it. He's throwing way more interceptions than he did last year. It's all rooted in the offensive line and the fact that he no longer has trust for this offensive line. And a quarterback with no trust in the offensive line is really no good to you, no matter how good they are, because they're now speeding up the process or they're slowing the process down depending on the situation. I believe that CJ Stroud is going to throw a pick today. I think that this is going to be an ugly, ugly game. Those are my 2 plays here. I think defense rules in this one. It's going to be a very fought divisional matchup. The last 4 games between these 2 teams have gone under the total. So give me under 40.5 here for the Texans and Titans. I could get there. And I love CJ Stroud over half an interception. I think that he is 100%. You're going to see that Titans defensive line get in the face of CJ Stroud, and he's just going to rush. The timing's going to be off. He's going to rush, and he's going to throw a pick.
I don't mind the pick. I can't do anything else on this game. That's a really hard game to bet because Will Levis is just a train wreck. I'm on the under 6.5 wins for the Titans, so I want the Texans to win the game. So I'm watching with interest to have the Texans win. But other than that, I don't know what to do with that game. You can tease it down from 8.5 down. If you're looking this game, technically, if you're looking for long teaser opportunities, this does qualify. You can pull this down to 2.5 from 40.5. That's actually a really high value play. It's the first time we've seen an 8.5. We don't see those very often where you can cross both 7 and 3. The books have made it very expensive and very difficult on gamblers, knowing that we're hunting those 8.5s. 8.5s have not popped all that often, but you have 8.5s pretty much widely available, or 8 where you can pull down through 3 and 7 for the Titans and the Texans, and just take the Texans at home -2.5 to win the game by 3. And then you can potentially parlay that with Detroit if you want. Oh, no, you can't. Sorry, it's too high. You could parlay that with, the Dolphins would be the other one. You can pull the Dolphins down -1.5 if you want to do a Wong teaser. So Dolphins, Texans teaser would be a Wong teaser. Would actually, with the 45 and 40.5 total, that's actually a pretty valuable teaser right there, given the low point totals that we have in both those games. To the late slate we go. We'll start in Vegas. F1 was last night. Bronco fans were there, maybe partying late nights, and we've got a Bronco Orange Crush coming to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Number opened at 3. It's now 5.5. This was the last game that fell off my card, Terrell. I want to bet the Broncos, but I decided to bet it in game. They're 5-1 on the road this year. ATS, the Denver Broncos are. Vegas is 2-2. They have lost 6 straight games outright. Any shot for the Raiders here? I'm on the under 6.5 wins for the Raiders, so I really want the Broncos just to win the game, but I want a better number than 5.5. I would love to get a 3 if I could.
Yeah, I'm just nervous that it's a divisional game. I think that they get up for the divisional spots, and that's really what it is for me. That'll make this a close one. We've seen some good Bo Nix and we've seen some bad Bo Nix, honestly. And so there are times when Bo Nix can't hit the broadside of bar and he couldn't shoot a pea in the ocean. There's a bunch of times that happens, but there's so many other times where he's extend plays with his legs. Sean Payton puts him in a good situation with a good offense, making easy throws, easy decisions. Sean Payton has hung his horse on Bo Nix, and so he keeps making Bo Nix look good. And I think that is going to be the focal point for the Raiders is, can we get pressure on Bo Nix? Can we force him to rush into some spots and make some bad decisions with the football? And that's how they find themselves not letting the Broncos run up and down on the field on them. So he's still a rookie. I think he's still open to having some mishaps here. Laying this number on the road with a rookie, not really where I want to be at. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stay away here. If I had to play, it'll probably be Raiders. I think the Broncos are the team that could low-key kind of trip people up today, because this is a divisional game, and they have not won in Vegas ever, actually. The last time they beat the Raiders on the road, they were still in Oakland. Or Los Angeles, wherever the hell they were.
No, Oakland. Yeah,
not in Vegas.
They were in Oakland. Yeah, I mean, one of the things from a Raider perspective is that what are they playing for? Are they playing for a new coach next year? Are they playing, where are they mentally heading into this week, knowing that Denver's got a lot going for them and the Raiders simply do not? They lost by 15 on the road to the Dolphins, 17 on the road to Cincinnati. They lost to Kansas City, but they covered in their last home game where Denver, ever since that blowout loss to the Ravens, where they lost by 31 points, they should have beaten Kansas City. That block kick was a joke, but they covered, and then they went to Atlanta and went home to take on Atlanta and beat them by 32 points last week. So I think from a Raider perspective, are they going to be interested if the Broncos go up by 10 early? I think the game's over. So to me, I would love to see the Raiders score the first touchdown, go up 7-0. Give me a number that's 2.5 or 3. And then take Denver in game. I'm with you. I think in a divisional game, I don't like laying 5.5. I don't like laying 5. That scares me. Tobias, pick. PK means pick, meaning you're betting the team to win. No points, just a money line play. Because this is the game where you and I, Terrell, are against each other here with Arizona and Seattle. You like the Cardinals. I like the Seahawks. You can say why you like the Cardinals, and then I'll retort and tell you why I don't.
All right, so I, for one, have been saying for a while, I think that this Seattle Seahawks team is not good.
Okay.
I think that they have been very fortunate in the games they have been in. I remember watching them lose to the Giants, so that's how I know for a fact they are not a good team. But nonetheless, this Cardinals team actually has been playing really, really solid over this season, honestly. I think the catalyst for them was that comeback win at Miami. And they've just been playing very, very good football, some good competition, some bad competition. I think that they're able to stop the pass. And that's the thing that's really going to set this the Seahawks team back. Geno Smith has made some horrible decisions with the football over the course of the season. And the Cardinals actually haven't been very fortunate in terms of capitalizing on a lot of those interceptions. So I think the turnovers are going to be there for the Cardinals today. And I think they can run the ball all over this Seattle Seahawks team. I think this is a great day for James Conner. In addition to me thinking the Seahawks defense is horrible, the fact that they can't stop the run is going to put Kyler Murray in great situations with the football, especially with James Conner just toting the rock up and down on the field. So I really, really want to fade that poor rush defense. I really, really want to back this Cardinals team that's playing really, really good football and fade a Seahawks team that I just don't believe in. I don't think that this defense transferred over from Baltimore to Seattle. And so, yeah, Kyler, give me Kyler all day. I'll take Kyler. I like James Conner over his rushing yards prop today. I think he's a guy that you could ladder as well. Mike Evans, I know people were asking about Mike Evans. They missed that earlier. I like Mike Evans. I think a ladder is good on Mike Evans along with the touchdown. I think the same thing is good for James Conner. Take James Conner all the way up to 100 rushing yards. I think he can have a really, really good day against this Seattle defense. So I'm on the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are just far away, just a better team. And I don't really know what the lure is on Seattle this season.
So a lot of it is a fade on the numbers, and I'm a trend better. Kyler Murray has started 28 games in his career where teams are above 500. Cardinals are 12-16 ATS in those games. When the game is played in November or later, they're 4-12 with Kyler Murray against the number playing in November. He's not been good. Off of a bye, things have not been good at all. In the 5 games that Kyler Murray has started coming off of a bye during the regular season, his team is 1-4 straight up and 1-4 ATS, losing and failing to cover by over 9 points a game. The only road game they have won off of a bye was in 2021 in Chicago. Kyler Murray has started 14 games in his career where he's been on extended rest. He's 5-9 ATS in those games. Now, that's the Kyler Murray stuff. To your point about Geno Smith, Geno's not been good at all. Since the beginning of last year, Geno Smith is 3-10 ATS at home. That's the worst mark.
God.
That's the worst mark of any starting quarterback in the NFL at home. Okay. So Geno has not been good at all, to your point, at home. However, since 2018, when the Seahawks are coming off of a win where they were a road dog against a divisional opponent, they're actually 60% ATS to cover in their next game. They don't have big letdowns. Now, new head coach and all these things, these are all just trends, and trends are your friend until that they are not. I saw something on that roster. I saw something on that sideline last week. I faded the Seahawks to beat the 49ers the way that they did. I think that carries over. Divisional game at home, and the weather might be something to take a look at. Okay. Yeah. The weather in Seattle. This is a Seattle team in November. This is a Arizona warm weather team going cold. That factors into this game here. Just to win the football game, and Seattle has to start stacking these wins. They can't be losing divisional games at home. If they do, their year is toast. Seattle has not been great. I'll give it to you on the number. There's problems. They're 3-6-1 ATS. They're 1-5 ATS at home this year. Arizona is 3-1. But I saw something in that game. I think they have a chance. They lost to Buffalo and the Rams back-to-back home games. They were catching 1.5 and catching 3, lost by 6 and by 21. But I think this is now a time for this team. This is just sort of a spot play and a fade on Kyler Murray. You're riding Kyler. I'm fading Kyler. We'll see what would happen. Kyler is 20-10 on the road ATS. It's AOWN. It's not about his career. Because remember, in September and October, even under Cliff Kingsbury, the Cardinals were the darling of the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
They were the cash cow. Okay. We're doing November on. Take a look at what they do November and December, not September and October. The numbers are inflated. This is late November. This is not September and October. So that's why I'm fading that road record for Kyler Murray here today. It's going to be a fun game to watch and see how that plays out just with a pick. The money is pretty much even. I mean, it's consensus. There's some places offshore. Well, actually, okay, Superbook now is flipped to the Cardinals. So they're at -1. DraftKings is at -1.
Circa has...
They're a pick.
Okay.
Circa's at pick at the moment. So it's coin flip there as well. So it's just pick whatever team you're going to win. Green Bay and San Francisco. This number opened up at 1.5 in a look-ahead number, and then we found out that Brock Purdy's not playing. This number ballooned to 6. It's all the way up to 6.5 at DraftKings at the moment. The total is 44.5. This is the other side of my teaser. I'm just taking this and pulling it down and taking Green Bay to win. Yep. I know some people, I think on one of our Betting Pros podcasts, I think the Niners will win the game outright.
Oh, so me and Joe got into it on the Betting Pros NFL podcast because I got the early line. I have a Packers -2.5 in my back pocket that I'm chilling on. And I can't wait to talk to Joe on the next episode because my whole handicap was the fact of these guys might not play. They're banged up to wherever and back.
All of them. The whole roster. Even with Kittle playing today, that he's not healthy. We know these things. There's so many problems.
And if you think CMC is 100%,
no.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying. I think that it's over for the Niners. I think this is a textbook. And when the season is over, we're going to look at whatever the Niners' final record is saying, and we're going to say, wow, this is a textbook Super Bowl letdown season. Yeah. We're going to back them next season, and they're going to get healthy, correct everything. But this year is a wash. It's not happening. We're talking about the last game we was just talking about is for first place in the division. So we're not worried about the Niners this year. I think that the Packers are the far superior team, and they're going to absolutely steamroll over them. Yeah, it's a little bit concerning seeing the number up as much as it is now, but I just don't know what fight this 49ers team is going to have with Brandon Allen at quarterback. And with how opportunistic this Packers defense is, Xavier McKinney might walk away with another interception on the season.
It's possible. I mean, it's really hard to handicap because we have no idea what this offense is going to look like without Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had never been a dog. The Niners haven't been a dog in forever. Like, they just aren't an underdog. The problem, and this is why I teased it down versus just going in and laying 5.5 or 6 points, is because against the spread, Jordan Love is not good as a favorite. He's 4-7 as a favorite in his career so far. As a dog, he's 10-7. So in the 28 starts for Jordan Love, he's already had 2 separate 4-game against the spread losing streak, which he's currently on one right now, which is not what you want when you're backing a team up against a defense like San Francisco. 4-6 ATS on the year for Green Bay. They haven't covered since they took on Arizona at home back on the 13th of October. Houston, Jacksonville, Detroit, and Chicago, they did not cover in any one of those football games. They've won 3 out of the 4, but they didn't cover. So I think Green Bay wins. I just don't know if they win. I like your 2.5. I think that's a really good number. This thing could fall 3. 100% this thing could fall 3. So I think you could be good. And then everybody who bets it late, you can lose and San Francisco covers. So that's why I just took it from 6 and pulled it down to a pick, and Packers win the football game, and I'm not playing around with anything. So it's Packers Dolphins for me on my teaser, taking the Dolphins down to -1, taking the Packers down to basically a pick for them to win the football game. So I'll be very curious what the final score is, but I think you're going to wind up cashing your ticket at 2.5. I just don't know if anybody's sitting at 3.5 or higher. I'm not sold that they wind up cashing their ticket today, and they may wind up getting themselves a frustration because they bet it late and there was a better price out there before we saw the quarterback change. And my co-host on my other show brought this up. He thinks this was classic market manipulation by the professionals, that they knew that Brock Purdy wasn't going to play, and they pulled the number down below 3 by betting San Francisco early in the week, only to turn around and just absolutely unload on the Packers after the fact, because now they got 2.5, 3.5, and driving the thing all the way up to 5.5 because they had inside knowledge that he was never going to play, that they were, you just somebody knew, and the numbers just came. The money came pouring in on San Francisco, and the books quickly adjusted when the pro money came in on the Packers at -2.5 and 3. So this could have been a market manipulation move, but knowing that Purdy was never going to play after last week, after what happened. Guys, join the NFL podcast group. You guys can join by visiting the community tab in the Betting Pros app, or by going to bettingpros.com/contest. You can sync your picks and use the quick pick feature on the Betting Pros app and get a chance to win free weekly and monthly prizes. Elevate your betting strategy and join the conversation today at bettingpros.com/NFL contest. Last game, it's the Sunday night game. Eagles on the road up against the Rams. The professionals are all over the Rams. This number now is 2.5 at multiple books. South Point, Circa. I don't care. Give me the Rams. Give me the Eagles to go out west to get a victory. I think the Birds are the better football team here. I don't think this offensive line for the Rams is going to keep Matthew Stafford upright. I think he's going to run for his life. I like the Eagles. Where are you on Eagles-Rams tonight?
Oh, yes. I'm so glad Mayo's here so he can hear this as well. And I'm going to tell you exactly why you'll be upset that the Eagles doesn't cash for you.
Okay.
Because I think that the Eagles secondary is leaky, to say the word. And I think that this is just a bad matchup. And yes, they have to dominate along the line of scrimmage. If they can dominate and just not give Matthew Stafford an opportunity to throw the ball, fine. At the end of the day, I think Matthew Stafford is going to get passes off, and I think he's going to abuse this secondary of the Eagles that I think is okay. Like, they're okay. Yes, they have some really good spots. Yes, they played some bad teams. Yes, they've gotten up. They had a really, really good game against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. But I think that now Matthew Stafford, this just feels like the primetime Matthew Stafford back against the wall game. I'm trying to make a run for this division. I see the 49ers are out of it. I saw the injury report. I watched the Packers game before this. I see the 49ers are out of it. And this is hey, we unload the entire kitchen sink for one of the best teams in the NFC, and we keep this game close, and we're in this game. I've seen the Eagles, as an Eagles hater, I've seen the Eagles fold spots like this. Oh, I 100% am. Jalen Hurts interception, it happens today. I think the Rams I think the Sharps are on the right side for a reason. Give me Los Angeles +3. Everybody is on the primetime standalone game on the Eagles, and I understand. But at the end of the day, I trust a gunslinger at quarterback. He's going to throw an interception, and I'm perfectly fine with it because he's probably going to have 3 touchdowns to go with it. Give me this wide receiver core and Matthew Stafford to put up points against the Eagles.
I hear your numbers that you're not going to like. Stafford in the Super Bowl run went 3-0 straight up as a dog. Since then, Matthew Stafford is 3-14 straight up as a dog. 3-14. That's only ahead of Bryce Young and Mac Jones for starting quarterbacks as dogs. The Eagles haven't been great, you're right, as a road favorite with Jalen Hurts. But this year, they're 3-1 ATS as a road or a neutral favorite, scoring 28 points in 3 of those 4 football games. Hurts is definitely a question, but Stafford and McVay combined as underdogs are 6-14 straight up in their career together as underdogs. They play much better as favorites. The best bet in the game is probably the under, because unders on Sunday night since 2022, the under is 37-18. That is 67% of the time. If you include the regular, or if you take out the playoffs and just go regular season, Sunday night football unders are 34-13, and the number is 49. 49. You can fade at AOWN and like the over, but numbers and trends would tell you that right now, under. This year, 8-3. Sunday night football unders are 8-3. So just FYI.
I'll add this.
Yep.
Last time I caught the Rams as a dog, it was in the same spot, primetime game. Everybody told me that the Vikings were this great team and that the Rams didn't have a chance. And they were able to win +3.
Eagles are so much better than
I'm just saying. It's the same spot of all the money was on the other side, and everybody told me I was wrong. And the Vikings and the Rams went in there and dominated this Vikings team and put up 30 points on them. I think this game could look very, very similar to that 30-20 win for the Rams here.
I don't know. It's a different set of circumstances. That was the 24th. The Vikings.
Jalen Hurts still makes bad decisions with the football.
He does.
I understand. This team looks good. Like they look
AJ Brown with AJ Brown on the field.
He still throws interceptions.
But they're 7-0 with AJ Brown playing. The 3 losses this year for the Eagles. So we're betting.
What you mean?
We're betting. All right, Terrell, give your card before we wrap up here and get out of here for the games.
All righty, here we've got Cardinals at a pick here, and you know what? Hey, I know it don't say it. Add Rams +3 up there. I want to go
Okay.
head to head with Matt one more
On both?
time.
Okay.
Give me the Texans and the Titans under 40.5. Giants and Buccaneers under 40.5 as well. Mike Evans ladder that over his receiving yards. I know it doesn't say it, but that touchdown price is at +135. Make sure you take that. The Caleb Williams over 203.5 passing yards and over an interception in the game. CJ Stroud's going to throw an interception as well. And James Conner to go over 69.5 rushing yards. Thank you.
On my card for today, like we mentioned, I have the Bears +3.5 against the Vikings today. I think the hook matters. We're up against Terrell and I head to head. I like the Seattle Seahawks to win this game against the Cardinals today at home. I'm taking the home team, just winning the game. I like the Eagles -3 here on this one. He likes +3. As I mentioned, 7-0. The Eagles are with AJ Brown in the lineup. He'll be in the lineup here for the Eagles offense here today. I expect him to go to 8-0 and cover. The teaser, Dolphins -1, Packers to a pick. I just think the Dolphins will beat the Patriots today on the road. It's been a house of horrors for New England going down to Miami, and the Packers are facing Brandon Allen, who I have no idea who the heck is going to wind up doing what with that offense, and they're so banged up for San Francisco. You can do a Wong teaser if you're looking for one here right before kickoff, and you have to bet it right now. That would be taking Miami and teasing them down to -1 and taking the Texans from 8.5 down to 2.5. So Miami and Houston, if you're looking for a Wong teaser, that does qualify for it. I think Baker Mayfield, who's been running more on the road, the last 2 road games for Baker Mayfield with Tampa, he's gone over this number of 12.5 yards rushing. I think Baker Mayfield will be running the ball today. Jonathan Taylor in the screen game, trying to slow down that Lions pass rush. 11.5 receiving yards for Jonathan Taylor. Noah Brown has missed this number the last 2 weeks for Washington. He's not been involved in the offense very much at all, under 37.5 yards receiving. And the Patriots do a pretty decent job of stopping the screen game with their linebackers who fly around the field. They don't give up screens, under 33.5 yards receiving for A-Chain. I know he's been a big part of this offense for Miami, but I expect the Patriots to key in on him and make somebody else beat them. Terrell, good stuff, my friend. Always enjoyable. Appreciate the time. Sal in the back, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for being here. Enjoy the games. Should be a lot of fun. We're back next week for week 13. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.